Hi everyone, this is Calico Kate. Welcome. This is a messy desk. This is going to be an experiment. Yeah, this is a toothpaste box. Tell me what you think. I want to cut it, I'll let you see scissors. I want to cut it for washi tape. Yes, I bought more washi tape. And no, I don't need it right now. But I thought it might be an idea to put washi tape in. And we all have toothpaste boxes. I assume we all have toothpaste boxes. Okay, now we'll start buying our toothpaste boxes to fit our washi if this works. And this, excuse my reach. This I'm just going to tape. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. You're used to my craziness. Okay, so I have this. So then, this is new washi I bought the other day when, and I'll tell you more about it. I went to Kirksville unsupervised. Look at that. Now, tain't that the cat's meow? Now, what about these bigger? They all fit. I am so excited. I can now be considered an inventor. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I'm going to keep that. That means I can order more washi tape because I've got some place to put it. You know? I'm not getting a bigger container. I'm just getting another one. Anyhow. I think it's time to say goodbye to April. Now, April's been a rough month for me between my allergies and my fibromyalgia, and it's because of all the weather shifting. And that's just how my life is. But this is April 2026. I use fabric. I already had a little bit of lace and puffy paint because I wanted to use a different medium. I love using my stuff. I enjoy looking in where I've stored stuff and go, oh, I haven't used puffy paints for a while. Oh, I haven't used my inks for a while. You know, I love doing that. Here's a pocket, so if there's anything I want to add, I can. The AJ's item of the month. This is from AJ's Inspired Life. She does a challenge each month. Started for herself. We all stole it to play along with her. And she gladly let us play. She said, come on, join the fun. So, borders, and I have had a blast with the borders. Be you, not them, so hard for me. That's a difficult quote for me. And the story begins, which you'll see this on somewhere in the beginning of my journals. This is a border that I had that I made a while ago. This is upholstery fabric. This is just book pages. This is a paper ruffle with a little bling. And I just sewed it, but you wouldn't have to sew it if you wanted to make one. This is brush shows. Played a lot with my brush shows because I went to my closet, looked for something that would be fun to play with. Too much of a good thing is wonderful. So too many borders is wonderful. And you'll see some pages, that's about all I have on there, are borders. This day, April 1st, what a April Fool's Day. We had a storm. We needed the rain. We didn't need all the wind and the storm. I did bake cookies for the 4-H club, and a lot of times I mix them and I make homemade. I'm not a store-bought person. I'm not saying I never buy store-bought, but I made homemade cookies for a bake sale on Friday, so I mixed them and I just baked a couple so Greg had them. And then the following day, I did pies so that they were fresh. And then he brought me aluminum pie pans so I could make some pies that didn't get made. Thursday, we got almost 2.2 inches of rain the night before. We had tornado watches out for that night. Picked up meds. Took meds. I mailed a couple Happy Mails. I've gained weight. They don't know why. Danny and I ate at the pharmacy. My mom was failing. I've got to get to Pittsfield, but I can't drive there because I'm not healthy enough. Yeah, it's a vicious circle. I baked the cookies and the brownies for 4-H. That's why I didn't make the pies I did Nikki's brownies for. I didn't come upstairs until 8 o'clock that night. I ate way too many Oreos. Yeah, I found out with the Alpha Gal I could have Oreos and they tasted good. This was a really bad day for me. Jackson and Greg started on the chicken tractor. I miss DAR again. Kids that came up to see the babies who are growing. Spencer was up to, Spencer's Nikki's brother. He's like 22, 23. And then this was to save the date on a big thing our DAR is having. And yeah, I missed it. Here's some more of my borders. Yeah, you can see these weren't really exciting borders. Here's the little butterfly borders. I just thought those would be fun on there because I've got so many I needed to use them up. I was feeling better. I crafted most of the day. Did some laundry, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Greg wanted to put the gun safe up in our closet, and we found some old albums of his mother's. Gene Autry, they were all like 40s, 50s, that kind of stuff. Found a Christmas album of Elvis Presley, so I kept it. Emerson would have been, nope, Emerson would have probably had a competition. Oh, no, she came up. This was funny. Her mom and friends, they the Moores, which you hear me talking about, Kay and stuff, that are like other kids, they all went out to eat. And Emerson calls up about 4:30 wanting to know what I'm having for supper. And so I tell her, and she said, can I come and eat there? And I said, of course. Can I come and help cook it? I said, of course. And so Jackson brings her up, bless his heart, and he went back home because he wanted microwavable container of macaroni and cheese and store-bought pizza. That's what he wanted for supper. This is when I'm playing a little bit with twilling. I gave that to Vonnie. It's just not my thing. But I still had some I made, so. Woke up sick again, no voice, headache, and sore throat. Easter Bunny brought Jackson golf clubs and Emerson a bike along with other goodies. Greg put up the TV we brought from up here in the den. I vacuumed dead flies. That's the story of our lives. Rob and Jenny invited us for Easter. I was too sick to go. He was getting ready to have surgery. He didn't need to be around me. And Greg didn't want to go without me. So Jesus arose on this day. This is my ruffle border. I love making these. Love making these. See, here's another boring border. But I decorated my pocket, and here's a little border around my pocket. I was supposed to get a haircut this day, and hair colored. Didn't feel up to it. Didn't want to get Jenny sick, so Greg took my haircut appointment. I called her and asked her if that'd be okay. I still got to make that appointment. I just put May brighter days come soon. I got up early, fixed tea for my throat, sinuses, went back to bed. came up. I told her how sick I was. She made a real fast, quick turn. She said, Papa, will you take me back home? But she's coming up because the guys were going to do a burn. Andy is a private lands conservationist. And on the side, he burns for other people to make them compliant with the CRP laws. But I know that's exciting. On this day, I was still sick. This is my border from punching out some tabs. This was Danny, my best friend's birthday. Some snow was still on our deck chairs. Can you believe it? And my sister's birthday, she was born in a blizzard, so, you know, we can't have snow. Andy and Greg put in my entryway, new floor in my entryway, and I started a prayer journal, and I want to thank Never Hopeless by Elizabeth, who turned me on to that. And I'm going to make a note of the people I mentioned so I can do a shout out. I loved making this. It was very good for me spiritually to make this journal. So my floor got down. I've only been waiting for 2 years for this floor to go down. Danny's gift is still here. I've seen her. Here's the border for this month. I bought these. This was my trip to get my eyes checked. And as you can see, I did a lot of retail therapy this day. I got my eyes checked. Jackson got his braces. The kids headed to St. Louis for her dad's cancer surgery. He was at a stage 3, and they had told him they were only at a stage 1. Emerson had dance picks, so another dancer's mom took her. I fixed mashed potatoes and pudding for Jackson. Greg, of course, I fixed him some. But Jackson's mouth is hurting like crazy. And he mowed our yard. That's his job. We pay him to mow our yard. But wanted me, I said, something before I go pick up him, do you want hugs and kisses and tucks in? He goes, oh, that's up to you. Yeah. So anyway, Greg and I did this. I picked up my glasses. Yeah. Okay. Then Emerson got her dance pictures this night. I crafted most of the day. Jackson came home in horrible pain. I felt so bad for him. Yeah, I changed purses. This is all for Emerson because she had to put on her dance makeup, and she does it. She does not need my help. And got her there. She got her picture taken, came home. She got showered, her hair washed in time for her to relax. Jackson ate with Greg because that was where all the soft food was. And Rob came out of his surgery okay. Mustn't grumble. It rained again. And I put there was nothing to say. I did my nails, and I'm sure I crafted. Yep, I crafted this day. This was a day I was down again with all that rain. It just does me in. So Greg went to Danny's mother-in-law's visitation. Kathy Cadu, I talk about a lot. They had a benefit for she and Bill for the heart. He bought dozen roses for Kathy and made a good-sized donation. Bill got to go for a while. They set him up in a section just for him. Jackson and Andy went turkey hunting. They didn't get one. Oh, on Thursday, I didn't have to stay all night because Andy's on the school board. And so he came home that night. I don't think I put that. And didn't get one as the hen and Drake were busy. And Emerson spent most of her day getting ready for the father-daughter dance. It quit raining, and I got to feeling better, so we met Greg's nephew we don't get to see very often. And they're part owners of the Catfish place. His wife was raised there. And so we took Jackson with us. Then Nikki, when she got she got there 15 minutes before they needed to leave. So she got to curl Emerson's hair, and then she came over and ate with us. And because they all know, because Courtney's raised there, that she loves walleye. So they always fix her walleye when she comes. Okay, this is Sunday the 12th. Emerson had a dance recital. I cleaned the bathroom, washed shower curtains. Boys took truckload to the trash. I forgot to send. Do you guys forget your craft trash? I forget to take it down. It's right here on the top of the steps, but I keep thinking I don't want to take it down until I'm going to do a garbage bag. Greg and Jackson took the pigs to the 4-H hog weigh-in because Nikki and Andy took Emerson to her dance competition. She and 2 other little girls danced to Weird People, and they got a platinum level, which is they've gotten a high gold before, but never a platinum. So that was a big deal for them. Here's more. I'm assuming you're seeing the ribbon. Here's another one of my borders. All goats are in the pasture. They're all retagged. The billy goats are retagged and shots. Chicken tractor finished and out of machine shed, ready for the chickens. And went for a walk. It was very windy. I put clothes on the line, started raining. I had to get them off. And of course, what does it do when it starts raining? I get down. I crafted most of the day doing odds and ends. And then life is too short to be normal. Stay weird. I must have crafted most of the day. Played upstairs most of the day. Slow stitched. Played with brushes, alcohol inks, and had mood to sew. Got to walk and make a video. This was done with alcohol ink. I sprayed that. This was paint. I made this. This was part of my embroidery, the 14th. And then this one I covered with buttons because I didn't like this side of what the sewn looked for. So I cleaned out my buttons. And so there's a button ribbon there. I made this and slowed stitched this on. I think I made a video doing all that. Tidied up downstairs sewing area, found the sewing seam binding, so brought it back upstairs, did some laundry, slow stitched this pocket and page for border yesterday, started another snippet, mainly just played upstairs. And you can use anything to write on as your writing thing. It doesn't always have to be stuff it's made to do. So there's that. Here is just where I used multicolored thread, and I just sew down the salvages. Makes it decorative. Here's some trim. Here's just a little bit of distressed crayon that then I wet. My art glitter glue came in. Kathy brought us some more morels, I think, yeah. I tidied upstairs, went through my fabric, made lots of painty papers, then went for a walk while they dried. Stamped them and then made more. I emptied Molly, that's my side-by-side, so that, looking for where's my painty papers. I have, yeah, this is painty papers. I just took painty papers and stamped on them. And I've got all kinds of them. I just had a pile here because I just had way too much fun. Here's some simpler ones. So if you've got your stamps, That's a way, if you're playing this month, you can stamp some paper and stick it on, as if y'all haven't thought of that. Walked in the pasture, I know, because I can remember putting this on here. Here's my border. Here's a stamp border. Played in my craft room. Found some old children's book Emerson didn't, that were worn out or she didn't like, and I cut them up. This was the day we all went to competition at Keokuk, and that's where Emerson has her dance. And we watched her, and then we went to Aldi's and came home. Greg had an appointment to show the Can-Am were selling, and they bought it. So this was all about Emerson this day. This was something else I embroidered. It was to look like a film strip. I crafted Michael's wife, Michael and Kristen. They went, Kristen took the girls mushroom hunting. They sent out some while the boys were burning. Michael was with the guys burning. Crafted, made a video, slowed stitched border, film strip. Didn't feel good, so I didn't do much. Had morels. Worked on journal. I hope you guys, are you all as crazy over morel mushrooms as we are? We just love it. Worked on journal and harvested Peter Rabbit book. Cleaned out glasses. Too many in the kitchen cabinet. Kathy brought over more mushrooms. She brought a gallon bag. So that tasted good to Greg. This is another one like at the beginning of the video. This is when I received Bridget's wonderful Happy Mail. And this is some of the stuff I got from her. This is a ribbon I cut in half. These are some of the washies. And had a mammogram and an ultrasound. And my ducks have just stayed put. They're not getting larger, so we're okay there. And then this is another border. This was Earth Day, and we gardened, and I planted. We were both very tired. I baked cookies, but the garden's planted. I picked up the kids so that we could pick up the cookie dough they had sold. And then Jackson and I, when we got home, we labeled whose was whose so they were easier to deliver. Emerson had dance in Memphis, so Andy took her into that. Greg and I cleaned up from working more in the garden, and then we took the cookies over to Caduce that they bought.
I'm headed to the other farm.
Okay, be careful.
Said she would probably check in with you.
Okay.
She was going to cook some lunch.
Okay. So as you can see, we celebrated Earth Day with our hands in the dirt. And Thursday, I finished up laundry, washed bedding, washed rugs, rags when Courtney left. She started deep cleaning my house. Here's more border. I loved this. This was just some trim off an old pair of jeans I found cleaning. So I used that. Greg's doing what he just told me he's doing. He's going to go disc up some trees, plant hostas, and herbs, and I watered them well. Supposed to storm. My body says it probably will. Greg was interviewed. One of our junior high classes were interviewing people who had lived through different big events like 9/11, the Kennedy being shot, a lot of those major government, and they wanted the personal reactions. And so Greg was interviewed for that. His was on where he was at 9/11. Met Danny at the pharmacy. Forgot her present. Tina came, just different ones came by, sat down and visited. Picked up for some cards for the boxes. Have you guys ever done that? I picked up the posters for the DAR Richard Gale ceremony. I had 19 entries. Made meatloaf and fried mushrooms for supper. I ruined my supper by eating too many mushrooms while I was frying them. You know, you set them over. Didn't wake up feeling good. Started the moose, let it cool, went out and watered plants and pots and in ground, worked on moose off and on after until it was time to go. And then we took all the kids and Moors. We all went to eat Mexican. And Kinsley, their little girl, told them that it was Greg's birthday. So I had told them to bring the check to me, and my son went and paid it. Then they stopped for ice cream, and so everybody was too full for moose, but that's okay. Moved the chicken tractor into the pasture. Andy and Greg pulled it in. I was the decoy, and I had my bucket, and I'm trying to get the goats to follow me, and one got his head in that bucket and about knocked me down. Did spill some. I watered everything. Kids went fishing, got 18 fish. Everybody caught fish, all 4 of them. Then I went for a walk, and I saw a deer. And then I took kids to Memphis to meet Nikki because they were getting another allergy test over at Kirksville, and I was going to ride with them, and I just decided I did not want to ride with them. But I had some huge retail therapy. I got some crafts, some clothes, and even a pair of shoes and perfume. I never buy perfume. And then just as I got home, Reed's came with some friends to see the goats, and I fried the last of the mushrooms. Okay, so then, yeah, I went shopping. I got anything I wanted or thought I wanted. This was on my Old Navy. I got some shorts at Old Navy. It says, "Smile, we switched to paper." I thought that was kind of appropriate. Here's a pot to carry where we all got our drinks, and we got one for Nikki. And this was Greg's birthday. Of course, he says it's a regular day, but he did say he had a good one. So, and then Tuesday, I had an appointment with my rheumatologist. My body's biology is really, really messed up. So he's going to put me on a over-the-counter tablet, kind of adjust it. It's like something you order. It's like an herbal type therapy type thing. And then there may be a shot that can help reset it. We went, and Greg had several errands, and so we did those. And as we're getting gas, Andy calls and says Emerson has a fever. You know, those usually the calls you get when you pull into the house. Well, fortunately, we were still in town. Courtney still cleaning. She cleaned while we were gone. Didn't feel good, so didn't bust my butt. I did get bird feeders filled. I need to go back out and do it again. And then, is there any exciting borders? Just this one that I painted. And then this one is washi tape again. Made this before Emerson came. The cardboard came from wrapping on my coffee. You know, the little wrappers you get on coffee? I cut it up and I made these little clusters and inked them. I inked them and with just my vintage ink. Emerson, when she was up here, she checked on my ink pens because Greg was wanting a yellow or an orange one. And every one I pulled wasn't right correct. So I said, "Would you go through these?" Well, you can tell she had a ball doing that. And so she had to wait 24 hours before she could go back to school after having a fever, but she wasn't sick. So I worked on wreath. Okay, so the day before I worked on this day I worked on Kentucky Derby hats. That's what this is for. Made Nikki and Kristen's Kentucky Derby hats. And then that was a lot of fun. And then the next day, I worked on a wreath for the door, because if you take a crafter to Hobby Lobby, she's going to want to look at flowers. If she looks at flowers, she's going to want to buy some. She's going to want to make a wreath. Well, then you've got to go and look at other stuff. And so then she looks at washi tape. And then when she leaves, she has to go. Yeah, that was my day when I went shopping by myself. But I did use all the flowers. I made their Easter bonnet. And I'll insert a picture. And I then made me a wreath. And then Thursday, I felt so bad I hardly left my chair. I didn't have 800 steps. That's how much I hurt. I went to bed at 8. I slept off and on. Craig brought me in lilacs. They smelled so good. He has always, when we were dating, he has always brought me the first flowers he sees. So I just put that bed there, and my chair was my bed. And that was my month. Don't know what I'm going to put here. But I enjoyed this journal. I really did. I enjoyed the size. I don't know if I needed, 2 whole pages or not, but it's nice to have them. I can always fill them with something. So this was fun. Now, this is my sticker book, and I've just started the sticker book this year. I've never even, in February, I didn't even have hardly any stickers to put in it. I mean, look at all the apple and orange ones from my apples and oranges and bananas and stuff. I just didn't have much. And then I got some more. And then I have more. Now, and I got more creative with what I could do. And part of this is from watching you guys do yours. It's like, oh, I could do that. With fibromyalgia, even your skin sometimes hurts. So that's why this don't touch me. Some stickers, it was so muggy this day. And I did a video. So I'm having fun with it. I know I'll get better at doing it. I'm not real sure how to always decorate these plain spots, but I keep watching some of yours and I copy. And so this is May. And I haven't put anything on today. Today's Saturday. This is from yesterday. I did come up for just a few minutes yesterday. And I missed Emerson's track meet, and I missed DAR again. Emerson could not care about running at all. Her philosophy is if you run, you sweat. If you sweat, you stink, and she's not going to be the stinky girl. So, this is my May journal. It's one I collaged as a masterboard, and then I took pink fingernail polish over it. Didn't do the best job of it, but you know what? There's not a journal police. This is off of one of my snippet rolls. I decided I've made all these snippet rolls. Let's use it. This is Mary Engelbright. This is so I have it for whatever I find I want to add in here. Mary Engelbright. This is just a pocket I had, so I added it in. This is just paper. And this is AJ's item of the month. Flowers. You think of May for flowers. And then yesterday I did do this one. Emerson had her track meet. I asked Greg, how'd she do? And he goes, oh, not too bad. She sure doesn't care. So there we go. I put this in so I could write about, this is my inked. When I inked the other day, I inked a whole bunch of stuff at once. I'm going to show you that now. But this came off of a shirt I had. So I inked all that. This is just some like canvas type paper. I just wanted a bunch of different colors. This is what we've wiped up stuff with. But I thought, you know, that's kind of grungy. I may want something grungy. This is upholstery fabric. No, this is some more. See, I could stamp on that. Here's more of that fabric that was in the shirt, that lace that was in a shirt I had. I loved that shirt. Here's some burlap, white burlap that I did. And then this is cheesecloth. So I did some purple, blue, and pink cheesecloth. And I will, and here's some more of that we've wiped up. Today I wiped up with paper towels and wet wipes. But, and then this is some I have inked before. And then this is today, and all I have is an iris. And this I inked. And that's all I have for today. But Emerson's going to come up. And one thing I do is, like, I may not use this. This is some of that I was playing with. Excuse me. And Emerson played with. But I put them in here so I don't forget whether I use the actual ones or not. I did a whole bunch of envelopes. I don't know that I'll use those, but it will remind me to throw something in. And this is, I got out my May stuff, and this is Cinco de Mayo. So I'll put that in probably this day so I have something. I go to the dentist this day, so who knows what all will get done. So that's a goodbye to April. And hello, May. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And as always, you have a purpose. Bye for now.